Alessandra, wonderful to see you. Great to have you with us today.
Thank you, David. I'm very excited for the conversation today. Thank you for having me here.
Where does this podcast find you today?
I'm in San Francisco, California.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I had some idea that wasn't the case, but we'll get into that. I was thinking probably Brazil or Portugal, but
Yeah, I'm originally from Brazil. I studied in Portugal, but it's been 7 years that I'm in the Bay Area. Moved here to start this company, OneSkin, to join the early stage co-founder team. So it's been already a journey of 7 years and a half that I'm in the Bay Area. Used to the weather here. I do not complain anymore. I'm kind of, now I complain when I go back to Brazil and this is too hot.
Well, I think it was Mark Twain said the coldest winter he'd ever spent was the summer in San Francisco.
That's so true. In my first year here, that was the saying that was always it's August. How come I have so many jackets and so cold?
Oh, the fog is just, it's amazing.
It takes over in the summertime.
Yeah. But let's talk a little bit about your journey. So you're from Brazil, Portugal, and now you're involved in high-tech skincare. So tell us a little bit, how did you get from A to B?
Okay, so yeah, I was born and raised in Brazil. As a young age, I developed this passion about science of growing up and trying to learn how to discover the cure of a disease. I wanted to do something big. Then I started learning about cloning. And when I was 10, 12, 13 years old, I was thinking whoa, when I grow up, I want to learn how to clone and clone my family so I will never lose my parents. I had the crazy idea that I wanted to clone myself because then I could see how I was when I was a baby, those ages that you don't have memory. I wanted to clone myself so I can see how I wasn't, but then I realized, okay, it wouldn't be me, right? But that sparked me this interest for science. And I decided when I went to college to study biology. And since the beginning, I wanted to research translational science. So I was very interested on stem cells, on learning how to grow tissues in a lab. So already in college, I started working as an intern in a lab, a research lab that was researching stem cells. So I did my master and my PhD in these areas of stem cells and building tissues and differentiating those stem cells and building tissues in the lab. Specifically, when I started my PhD, I decided I wanted to research skin, but with the lens of regeneration, wound healing. So I came to my supervisor in Brazil and I said, I want my PhD thesis to be focused on skin regeneration. And he said, but we don't have this expertise here. And I said, I can learn, let's find someone to partner. And there was this group in Portugal that we had already partnership in our lab before. And they had a whole section department studying skin regenerations and biomaterials to build 3D constructs. So most of my PhD thesis was done in Portugal. And after that, I defended my thesis and I continue in Portugal doing postdoc and researching how to promote better wound healing using stem cells, biomaterials, exosomes. And in this process, when I was there, I had these three amazing friends from Brazil that I met on my master and my PhD that were also researching stem cells and differentiating to different tissues that had started the company back in Brazil in 2014. And the idea of the company was to differentiate stem cells in human tissues, in small tissues, to test molecules to different industries. So using the expertise of the different co-founders. It was very hard in 2014 to start a biotech company startup in Brazil because the ecosystem is not there yet. There was no investors, mentors. So they were facing a lot of problems in Brazil. But in 2016, one opportunity arose that was to come to San Francisco and join an accelerator program that helps scientists to become entrepreneurs and develop their ideas. So they applied to this in 2016, and my co-founder Carolina moved to San Francisco. And one of the first things they said is okay, you girls have too many ideas, you need to focus in one. And they decided to focus on skin, on building skin models to test cosmetic products that are out there and use bioinformatic tools to give new analysis of how the products are working. And when they made that decision, because this was my strong expertise, they invited me to join the team. And I moved from Portugal to San Francisco to lead the science. And we started really as a group of scientists researching the skin aging, building the models of skin to test products out there. We had no idea that 7, 8 years later, we will have a proprietary molecule and a brand, but things evolved, I can explain later, on the research that led us to where we are right now.
Do you happen to know Ivo Pitonguet?
Yes, he was one of the biggest plastic surgeons in Brazil. Yeah.
I spent a day with Ivo once.
Oh, nice. I don't know him personally, by the way.
Oh, he's a wonderful guy, but he, similar to your journey.
Yeah.
So he started out, plastic surgery began as childhood burn victims.
Yeah.
Being able to help skin grafts childhood burn victims. And then he went on to do other things. I don't know. I thought maybe.
Yeah, I don't know him personally, but he's a big reference in Brazil, like for sure.
Yeah.
Similar story.
Really, really funny guy too, I have to say.
We're Brazilians, we are funny.
They're very funny. I want to back up just a little bit. So you mentioned 3 things. You mentioned biomaterials, stem cells, and exosomes.
Yeah.
What do you mean by biomaterial?
Biomaterials is anything like that we want to build a scaffold, like the basic to build an organ. So you can use like materials that are simulating our body tissue that will be recognized by our body tissue, and will build this scaffold for tissue to grow.
I have this ongoing issue with my left knee, and they did a PRP injection, but before they did that, they shot up it's called Euflexa, which I think is hyaluronic acid, and they use that word, scaffolding.
Yeah.
So
because the hyaluronic acid is it's a type of biomaterial that can form the structure to build the new tissue.
It's unclear whether any new tissue is actually built, but I don't know. My knee feels a little better today. Yeah. Okay, stem cells, exosomes. So we're going to do like a quick primer on this.
Okay.
Stem cells. What do they do?
So stem cells are undifferentiated cells that can differentiate in any cell type of your tissue, or when, depending on the type of stem cell, when they are undifferentiated, they can secrete factors that helps on the regeneration process of the tissue. So in my case, when I was doing my PhD, I was using the stem cells like to differentiate and form like a new tissue in the lab. But you can use the undifferentiated stem cells in several different therapies on your body to promote wound healing, to induce wound healing. So even on my thesis, what I did is like I had a biomaterial with the stem cells. And when you put this on a wound, the stem cells would help the regeneration process and the building and a better cicatrization of the wound compared to like using other type of therapies. So stem cells, they are also used in the cosmetic purpose, but you don't find stem cells in topical creams. If you read like this cream has stem cells, probably it's not exactly what they mean, because stem cells are live cells. They are like living cells. So they are a live creature. They need certain conditions to function. So inside of a cream, you will never find live stem cells. But there are like some procedures that you can inject stem cells to reduce inflammation and promote better regeneration of your skin, or like it's a lot used also in joints, in osteoarthritis, and there are like developing therapies for other reasons as well.
Before I get to exosomes, because I'm really old, I've been told my stem cells, like if they were to like pull some out of me, they're not going to work as well as your stem cells because you're younger.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
So as we are aging, like our whole body, like it's kind of aging together, and our stem cells are getting like older too, but they're still functioning. But you're right, like when we are young, that's why also there are some stem cell banks, because like the younger you are, like your stem cells, like they're more alive, you have more of those stem cells, they're functioning better. So usually with aging, you reduce like your stock of stem cells, and this is a normal process.
I've noticed that when I was a kid, if I fell off my bike and I like ripped up my knee, it would look horrible for a day. And then like 3 days later, it was like miraculously healed. And now that would be like a month. Yeah.
Yeah, it takes longer with time,
Mm.
unfortunately.
Exosomes. What are these?
So exosomes, they are like small vesicles that are secreted by cells. They are signaling vesicles that contain several signaling molecules inside. So inside an exosome, you have like proteins, you have microRNA, you have growth factors, you have a lot of things that that cell is trying to signaling. So it's a way, because exosomes can be kept like outside this live environment, you can like, instead of using stem cells, you can use just the exosomes that are extracted from these stem cells and get similar results on the regeneration process on what you're inducing by using just the exosomes. But the exosomes are also a tricky molecule because it's also hard to keep exosomes stable on a topical cream. Exosomes, usually after you harvest from stem cells when they are producing, you need to keep them in low temperature so you keep the vesicle still intact. Because if you if you break that, you will lose the content that's inside the vesicle. And then when you apply that exosome, the proteins inside there are not so stable. So exosomes can give you good results similar to stem cells and not have even like any adverse effect that if you use stem cell from a different donor, like your body can reject that cell. Exosomes, this does not happen. But also these are molecules used for regeneration purposes, but needs to be like well kept in order to be still functioning when they are delivered. So the stability of the exosomes, it's very important to take in consideration when you're doing any treatment that contains exosomes.
Okay. We're going to get into peptides and this
Yeah.
particular peptide. But before we go there, let's differentiate exosomes from peptides.
So peptides, they are like a small piece of a protein. So are the building blocks of proteins, and they work as signaling molecules. So a peptide can tell like to a cell to, for instance, secrete more collagen. It can like improve DNA repair pathways. So it's a signaling molecule that's giving a signal, a specific signal to different cell types. The exosomes, they contain like a soup of different molecules inside. They have peptides inside, they have different growth factors, they have microRNAs. So they have more signaling molecules that can be delivered at the same time. They can have more action, like more things happening, inducing more things to happen on your body compared to a peptide alone. A peptide alone will be more specific to signaling specific pathways. The exosome will contain different molecules inside that can give more than one instruction to your body on what to do.
Exosomes, though, they're not terribly stable. They have to be handled with caution. Peptides, though, these are not. This is a
more stable molecules, are more easy to produce, are more like easy to, they have stability to be incorporated in topical creams. You need to be careful like on the size of the peptide for topical delivery, because not all peptides can penetrate the skin, but if the peptide can penetrate the skin, can be delivering a specific message and a signaling pathway to your skin.
Okay.
Talking about skin.
Thank you for our human biology lesson. Appreciate that. You know, a lot of times people just throw these words around, and I think it's good to know what they mean from somebody who actually understands what they mean. So, thank you. So, I want to understand your journey to getting this particular peptide, the OS1 peptide. Let's talk about how you got there and what it does.
So when we started OneSkin and our research at OneSkin, our goal was like to reproduce the aging process of the skin in the lab by growing like human tissue in the lab. And we started by testing products, anti-aging products that are in the market, and see how the skin was responding to this topical treatment. So our goal was to isolate the DNA of the skin and look to the biological age of the skin and understand if the products, they are really rejuvenating the skin, if there is real rejuvenation effect. And the first goal was that we would create a seal, a stamp from OneSkin, that other companies, we could validate the products and they could have like OneSkin approved to rejuvenate your skin by XYZ years. When we started the research and this idea that seemed to be very interesting, we started realizing that a lot of the products that we are testing, some of them, they don't change your skin, they don't do anything, like although they are claiming to be anti-aging, they are not really changing nothing on your skin. Other products were even like worsening your skin. That was a little bit, other products were increasing inflammation and was increasing aging markers on their skin. That's the opposite of what you want to happen. So when we start to realize that there are a lot of products there that do not deliver what it's meant to deliver, we realized that our first business idea wouldn't be the best, but there was an opportunity there to understand why those products were not working and what was missing on those products. So what we started to understand is the aging process of the skin, how this aged skin is behaving, and why the products are not working is because they are not targeting what's really causing and driving the skin aging process. So we all know that when we are aging, like our skin produces less collagen, starts to become sagging and wrinkling. But what's happening? Why this is happening inside the skin? And one of the reasons is because the cells, they stop working properly. They start to accumulate damage that's coming from UV, natural damage from the aging process. And when they start to accumulate too much damage, they stop dividing and they start secreting inflammation. And if the products are not like reducing this inflammation or somehow stopping the accumulation of these senescent cells, it will not actually like slow down the aging or rejuvenate that skin. So since we realized that the actives, the products out there, they were not targeting this root cause, that's the accumulation of aged cells, and we call more specifically senescent cells. So also some people call them zombie cells because they are cells that were supposed to be dead, but they don't die, they secrete inflammation, and this inflammation starts to deteriorate the healthy tissue surrounding. Our idea and our hypothesis was, if we find a new molecule, a new peptide that can stop this process, like try to prevent the accumulation of new senescent cells, reduce the inflammation that the senescent cells are secreting, we may promote like a better rejuvenation of the skin. So we started with a partnership with another research group. We started to look at screen for new peptides. So we had a library of almost 200 novel peptides. We specifically tested for the accumulation of the senescent cells, meaning we were adding one peptide in each of a well in a Petri dish in the lab. So we had there the skin cells that are aging, that are becoming senescent. We put a peptide and we see we have more or less senescent cells after 48 hours. And then by doing that, we found like 4 peptides that were reducing the accumulation of senescent cells. And then we use computational biology to understand those peptides and generate a new library that was almost 700 peptides, all novel molecules. And we screened it again until we found the one that we called OS1 peptide.
I'm going to back up. What is computational biology?
Computational biology, it's a type of AI, like now people understand AI. So we use softwares to analyze the sequence of the peptide. So peptide is basically a sequence of amino acids, and this can be changed. And if you change the sequence and which amino acid is, you can have a different property for that peptide. So we screen, like based on that first 4, we like scramble all of the new possible sequences, and then we generate this new library with around 700 peptides. We went back to the lab, we checked what this peptide could be doing to the senescent cells in the skin, and then we found this, there was one hit that was reducing up to 50% the accumulation of the senescent cells, was reducing the secretion of inflammatory cytokines of the cells. And then we said, okay, what this peptide will do when you apply on this aged skin. And when we did this test, we saw that we reduced the markers of aging and inflammation. We allowed the healthy cells to then produce more collagen and get a stronger skin barrier. And the biological age of the skin was reduced. So meaning like the skin is acting and functioning as a younger skin. So this was all done in the lab as a researcher doing research. And when we got to this data, we got very excited about it. We thought about, okay, we have a molecule that we can license to big companies, because we were a team of scientists doing research. And the first idea was like, we'll license to someone that knows how they can use the molecule. But the process of like talking to big companies was so slow, and we were so anxious, and we were testing the peptide. We were formulating and testing, comparing to other products we knew was good. We got some investment to continue the research. And then we decided, okay, let's build a brand. Let's bring this peptide into a topical cream where people can benefit from the use of this novel peptide. So that's how like the brand OneSkin was born. And in February 2021, after more than 5 years of research, we brought our first product to the market. That's the face moisturizer.
So you went from 200, testing them in, what's the word for it? In vitro, so in a dish.
Yes.
And then you get 4, and then you feed the AI the 4, it gives you 700. And then you take the 700, you make them, and then you test them again in dishes, and you get 1.
Yeah.
And then so now you have a topical senolytic.
Yeah.
Which is fabulous.
And just we don't call it senolytic, we call more xenomorphic.
Okay.
Because the senolytic is, if the molecule was actually killing the senescent cells, that's the definition of a senolytic. It acts by killing. Xenomorphic, our molecule does not directly kill the senescent cells, but reduce the inflammation and increase DNA repair. So avoid the formation of novel senescent cells. So it's a topical xenotherapeutic or xenomorphic molecule.
So now we're out in the world, and have we tested this on humans?
So before like bringing the physical product, we did test in humans. So the first thing was like run safety tests on these novel molecules. And then we ran a clinical trial for looking for efficacy, because even though the molecule was working in vitro in the lab, would really like, if
Exactly.
I use like,
Right.
will I see and be able to see visible notice like of improvement? So we ran a clinical study where we did a split phase clinical study. Half of the phase had the full formula, because we developed the full formula around the OS1 peptide. So all the ingredients that goes together. So we had this full formula plus and minus peptide. And then we were able to see that after 6 weeks and 12 weeks, only the side that contained the peptide showed an improvement on skin barrier function, and meaning that the skin barrier is stronger and you're losing less water, you are retaining more moisture on your skin, and also like significant improvements on reduction on wrinkles and texture of the skin were more imminent on the side that contained the peptide versus the side that did not contain the peptide. So that was the final proof that our molecule works, and it's like formulated into a cream and can really like make a difference on that cream on improving the visual aspects of the skin aging.
And you were talking about it reduces the age of the skin.
Yeah, the biological age of the skin.
Okay. How do you measure the biological age of skin?
Yeah, so I mean, just the concept like chronological age is the age that we assign based on the day that you were born and how many times when the Earth go around the sun, complete 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. The biological, so everyone is aging at the same speed, right? It takes 365 days and you are 1 year older. But the reality is that our body is aging in different speeds, like depending on your lifestyle choices, depending on how you protect, treat yourself, what you eat, what you put inside, outside your body. This will affect the way you are aging. So if we look to the DNA of this was for us, we were looking specifically on the skin. So we isolate the DNA of the skin, and we can look to markers that are like methylation markers that have on the DNA. These methylation groups that are attached to the DNA, they tell the DNA what to secrete or not, what to produce. They're signaling, like, so they're called epigenetic, but basically it creates a profile. When you are young, it changes from when you're old, and this determines your biological age. So we analyzed over 500 samples, DNA samples of skins from very young to old skin, aged skin, over 80 years old. And we could map like what are the changes on this methylation profile. And with that, we can determine what's the biological age of the skin. So a skin of someone that's 37 years old can be 35 or it can be 42. This will depend more, like not on your chronological age, but depending on your lifestyle choices. So we use this algorithm to measure the biological age of the skin before and after the treatment in vitro in the lab. And we saw this reduction of 2.5 years of the biological age of the skin.
And I feel like I'm just like an inquisitor here, but I have so many questions. So the reduction of 2.5 years was over what period of time of treatment?
So it was 5 days of treatment.
5 days?
Yeah, 5 days. But when you're in the lab, you have like this perfect environment, right? You have like everything is controlled, the temperature, the amount of nutrition, you have no stress coming. So it's a very perfect scenario that you can see this reduction in the biological age. So we have been running like clinical studies in humans to see like how the continued use of our product can reduce the biological age in humans. And this is more challenge because like you can use a topical cream that we know will help, but at the same time, if you're going out there and burning at the sun every day, you will not like, or if you are not sleeping well, if you're not eating healthy, you're affecting this. So it's harder to see the changes. They will not be proportional 5 days, 2.5 years. What we have seen so far on a pilot study that was only 10 participants, and we are repeating this, was after 1 year, we saw a reduction of 3.2 years on the biological age. So it's lower, but it's awesome, right? You pass 1 year and you're reducing your biological age, but it's not proportional to that 5 days, 2.5 years that we see in the lab.
I'm just curious, this 5-day thing. So did you take people and like lock them in your lab for 5 days?
No, so this to run these studies, I received samples of leftover of plastic surgery.
Right.
So I received the skin sample, and I can keep the skin alive,
Right.
like in the right conditions inside the lab. The tissue is like outside the human body, and they are kept in an incubator that has the right temperature. They have the right nutritions. So they are like kind of in a perfect environment without stress and being treated in this condition.
So anyone who's listening, if you have a severe case of xenophobia, Alessandra would love to lock you in a closet and test you over a period of maybe a year, left side, right side with OneSkin. So just
then we will not have any like side adverse effect, and we'll keep that would be the ideal scenario, but that's not realistic as well, right? We need to run like with the chaos that's life.
And this is fabulous. So I believe that when we started the conversation, you told me you had a manifesto.
Yeah.
And I love a manifesto. It's Healthy Aging Month, right? Tell me, what's your manifesto?
So just so people can understand before I bring the manifesto, OneSkin, like the philosophy of the company is, and why we developed and we search for these molecules, is because we believe and we know that the skin is an important organ for the process of aging. It's not only for the aesthetic reasons only, but the skin plays a big role on like keeping your health and helping your body to navigate the process of aging well. So when I talk like, oh, our peptide improves the skin barrier function, this means that the skin is stronger, resilient, and can do well the job that's protecting your inner body. So the more you keep your skin like healthy and strong, the more like you are helping your internal body as well to keep the right homeostasis and the right environment to be functioning well. So OneSkin is not only about like bringing products that will improve your skin and your skin appearance, but it's really like to embracing the age and bringing the best of you like throughout the process of aging. So on this specific month, like a Healthy Aging Month, we wrote this manifesto. What we want is to raise awareness of the positive aspects of aging and focus on the lifestyle choices that we can do. So I'll read it for you. The Healthy Aging Manifesto by OneSkin. This is your journey to healthy aging. Own it every day. If you're not satisfied with how you're aging, take action. Nourish your body with purpose. Move with intention. Prioritize rest. Your skin tells your story. Be the author. Embrace new healthy habits. They are investments in your future self. Every choice matters. Make them count. Seek wisdom from those who age gracefully. Share your own insights. Seize opportunities for health. They don't always knock twice. Your habits shape your future. Your mindset defines your journey. Healthy aging isn't a destination. It's a daily commitment. Wear your age proudly. It's a badge of a life well lived. This is your blueprint for longevity. Build it, live it, love it.
It's really lovely.
Yeah.
Lovely. Thank
This
you.
is the message that we want to bring like to everyone, that to embrace aging, to embrace the process. That's so nice, like to get more wisdom, to be more in control of yourself, and reflect on how you're treating your body, because it's your body is taking you to this process, and how we want to be in 20, 30, 40 years from now depends on the actions that we're taking now, right?
You said a few things there that I really like. And first of all, if you're not aging, you're not living. So the alternative there is not so great. The other thing is everything you do, you're either getting a dividend or you're paying interest. And these accumulate over a period of time. So we do absolutely have agency over how we age. It's not 100%, but it's, depending on who you talk to, 80 to 90%. Depends on what you do, what you put. You put that Twinkie in your mouth. I didn't do it. And, all this sort of stuff that, we all know, like go to sleep, drink water, get exercise, keep your stress down, connect to your friends. These are the big rocks. That's really important. And one of the things that I like about your manifesto is I'm 65. So this is not about me suddenly, Benjamin Button, I'm going to be 20. No, but I would like to become the best version of me that I can.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's always like trying to bring this best version, doesn't matter which age you are, like
Right.
bring your best version for that age and be at your best, functioning, healthy, being able to do the things that you want to do and enjoy them, right?
That's right. We say, bring the person you are today, not the person that you were. Hopefully, at least I know for myself, I'm a better person today than I was in the past. So.
Yeah, I was telling you, like, I feel better now. It's stronger, mentally healthier than like 10 years ago. I wouldn't change like to go back to my 20s. I preferred Alessandra on her late 30s, 37 years old today, and I'm at my best today. And this is like one of the things that was positive for me when starting this company was also bringing this awareness that made me change a lot of my lifestyle, like habits, on the process of building this company. So when I moved to San Francisco, I was not exercising every day. I was slim, but I was not strong or completely healthy, So I started to incorporate exercising every day, taking care of my sleep. So making sure I take 7 hours of sleep every day, choosing more wisely the food that I'm taking and the drink that I'm drinking and eating, feeding myself with things that my body will be feeling good about it. and also like finding purpose and connecting with having like a community around you. OneSkin brings me a lot of joy, like as my career path. So I'm very fortunate to feel a lot of joy on the things that I do daily, which I feel that helped a lot to be a better version of myself too. So was all this awareness of like, okay, I can define the way I want to age. I don't need to be scared because my grandmother has had Alzheimer, my grandparents had cancer. That may not be my fate. Like I'm choosing the way that I'm growing in life, right?
Before we go, I want to ask you, what's your favorite karaoke song?
Oh my God, the problem is a lot of them in Portuguese, but what I do love to sing, it's Whitney Houston. I
Oh,
love,
which one?
I mean, all of her songs, if I love to be like more, don't need to push that much my voice, but I like to try all her songs. Like I try to avoid that or not when there is many people because I don't sing well. I just enjoy having fun.
Wonderful. Well, the next time in San Francisco, you know where we're going.
Yes, we're going to karaoke for sure.
Karaoke.
It's always so much fun.
This has been wonderful, Alessandra. Is there anything you want to leave our people with?
Yeah, I think the most important is living with this message that we are talking, that you own your journey. So think wisely on how you want to like live your life, the choices that you want to make, and just enjoy the process.
I got one more question. You told me your age, but my guess is, do you get carded in bars?
I mean, here they always do it, right? Because it's almost mandatory. But no, I don't look that young.
Okay.
I always, when they don't ask, I'm like, why aren't you asking for my card?
For those who are only listening, not watching, Alessandra could pass for 10, 15 years younger than she is. So
Thank you for that.
whatever she's doing, that's what we all want to do. It's been delightful having you on. I appreciate all of your knowledge and walking us through all the biology of this.
Yeah, thank you so much, David. I hope everyone enjoyed the conversation. And at OneSkin, if you follow us on Instagram or follow our newsletter, we share a lot of content, like educational content on how to improve your skin health or habits for a better longevity. We're not only talking about our products, but we are really educating on aging and things that you can do and even like science that are coming out. So
before we go, all right, we got some more information here. Top 5 healthy skin habits.
Okay, top 5. It's very interesting because I would say wear sunscreen. This is a very important one. But what's interesting is that not all of them are involved with really applying anything to your skin, but more on, again, what we were talking about, your choices, lifestyle choices. So apply sunscreen is very important, especially when you are going spend a whole day out in the sun, if you're like really outdoorsy summertime, but also in winter time. Drink water, sleep, eat food that will nourish your body, like foods that are rich on antioxidants, that have like real nutrition that can help your body. And the 5th one, I didn't think about like 5 different things. I mean, just embrace your one very important one, be careful on what you're putting on your skin. Be aware of the products that you're using. Like search for brands that have real data and science behind it. Like it's always like the best option to go because the market is super crowded. I can identify a little bit, look into ingredient lists, what is good or bad to the skin, but it's so hard for the majority of people. So what I always say is like, check their website. Do they have like any information, any clinical study, safety studies on their products or anything like that? Then can be a good product. At OneSkin, we're proud to have like a whole section of claim disclosure. So everything that we're claiming on our products is because we did tests to validate it. So yeah, that's my 5. I think I gave 5 tips there.
Thank you. I appreciate the bonus round. Alessandra, you are just a delight. And it's been just really fun talking to you this whole time.
Yeah, I mean, the time flew by and I didn't even realize. It was super fun. Thank you.
Okay, take care now. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.